Welcome to another edition of the KSL.com Campus Report podcast, the final pre-game, pre-podcast edition of the KSL.com Campus Report. And friends, that can only mean one thing. We made it. We made it, folks. We made it to the 2017 football season. It is upon us. We are just days away from BYU's 2017 football season opener against the Portland State Vikings this Saturday, 1 o'clock p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, Lavelle Edwards Stadium in Provo, Utah. You can catch that one on ESPN, over the air, or online, or on radio, KSL News Radio. Little shout out to my peeps over there at KSL News Radio, Greg Bell and his guys. But we are here. It's time. Can you feel it? Oh yeah, I'm just going to play that for you. We are here. It is football season. We've made it through our long national nightmare. It is now over. BYU is opening up against Portland State University, FCS out of the Big Sky Conference. First ever appearance between these two teams all time. Just the third earliest BYU has ever opened a football season in its program history. The earliest Portland State has ever opened in its program history, which seems a little bit bizarre to me, but here we are. That's the fact. That's what the game notes tell me. That's what I'm going to go with. So one interview for you guys today, because I hear a lot of talk floating around on Twitter and after practice and people asking me and coming up to me about BYU's wide receivers. Obviously, we know plenty about BYU quarterback Tanner Mangum. He is the starter. He's the incumbent starter. He really wasn't challenged for that starting job all through the spring, all through fall camp. Bo Hodge, obviously, is his backup. And we just don't know a whole lot about what he's going to be throwing to. Obviously, BYU the last couple seasons has had a couple of very good wide receivers, and they have all graduated. The only significant returner right now is Jonah Trineman, who's got a grand total of 1 year in the program, courtesy of his 2 seasons at Snow College. And I think we know that Jonah should be pretty solid. He's obviously got speed. He's got burners. Yeah, he's a little bit smaller-ish. Okay, shout out to Jonah Trineman. No offense if you listen to this podcast. No, I'm sure he's fine. I mean, but he's a little bit shorter. And so there are just a lot of names floating around that I think BYU fans want to get excited about. There's a lot of potential there. Guys like Talon Shumway, Ricky Shumway, Micah Simon, Bo Tanner, Neil Pau'u, etc. Guys who could be really good. There's a lot of potential there. There's plenty of talent there, but we just don't quite know how they're going to pan out when the stadium lights turn on, when they trot out onto the field at Lavelle Edwards Stadium, and when they're hauling in passes from a potential national awards contending quarterback like Tanner Mangum. So we'll find out this Saturday. We don't have to project or speculate or pontificate too much any longer when BYU opens the season this Saturday, 1 p.m. on ESPN. So get your tickets to this one. There are still plenty of tickets available. Head on down to Provo. Tailgate if you want, or don't. It's fine. Whatever. But get to this game. Tune into this game. It should be a lot of fun. And at the very least, like we mentioned before, football is back, baby. So on that note, I will get you out of here with this, because I sat down with new freshman wide receiver Neil Pau'u, who, if you know that name, it's probably because of his older brother, Butch Pau'u. He's a team captain. He's a linebacker. He burst onto the scene last year, his first season as a starter, and really showed the world that Mormons can hit people too. I think Neil Pau'u is going to be pretty good as well. He's a little bit older. He's 3 years removed from high school football, courtesy of a mission to Salt Lake City, and he's almost a year removed from that. He got back last June, i.e. June 2016. Because of a variety of circumstances, he obviously didn't enroll until last winter, went through spring ball, and then really sees fall camp by the horns, and here he is now cracking the 2 deep at the X-receiver alongside guys like Jonah Trineman, Talon Shumway, and Micah Simon. So I think Neil Pau'u is going to be good, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy this interview where we talk some football. We also talk a little bit of basketball for Hoopniks. We talk a little bit of volleyball, and stick around to the very end where I ask Neil Pau'u where his favorite place to eat in Utah County is. Spoiler alert, if you're a fan of the West Coast, you're going to like his answer. So on that note, thank you once again for joining me, Sean Walker, on the KSL.com Campus Report podcast. And here's my interview with freshman wide receiver Neil Pau'u. Standing here with the other Pau'u, Neil Pau'u, the offensive Pau'u, I think, the one who hopefully going to surprise a couple of BYU fans this coming season. And thanks for joining me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Appreciate it. And let's just kind of talk about kind of your role on this team right here, because I get the depth chart the other day, and I'm sure you've had plenty of notice on this, but a couple names really stood out, and yours was one of them. You know, you're a freshman. This is you're going into your second semester, I guess, here at BYU, and lo and behold, you're the primary backup to Talon, I think it was, Talon Shumway. Is that the wide receiver position?
Yes. So I just came in the spring. It was an interesting spring. I wanted to play receiver. They didn't know where to put me and stuff, and just worked my tail off from spring and especially into summer. And then so far, just had a great camp. A lot of the off-season work that I put in with me and my brother is starting to pay off, and luckily I'll be able to have a chance this Saturday to play not only along the other great receivers and stuff, but also to show what also I got as well.
You kind of hit the ground running there in spring, impressed a lot of people. I know coaches were talking about you a lot of your teammates were talking about you a lot. Just what was it about kind of that spring camp that motivated you, I guess, to really hit the ground running? I mean, did maybe Butch help out, or your brother, or anything like that, or what was that?
I think it started last year. My brother was in a battle for the starting linebacker position last year, and I got back last June from a mission, so he just told me to continue to work, and I was home for 6 months, so that's all I did. Wow. And I was excited to get spring started to show exactly what I had to offer and stuff, and then spring came around, and I was more than excited to get it started, obviously, to battle against my brother opposite side, but again, just to show all the off-season work that I've put in and starting to pay off.
You started a mission in Salt Lake City?
In Salt Lake City, yeah.
How was that, and did you come right back up here, back up to Utah right after the mission, or did you stay in Orange County?
No, I definitely had to go back home for a little, enjoy my 6 months with the beach and great weather and stuff, and then decided to, come back and stuff. So it's fun to be back up, but I definitely needed to go home, enjoy time with family, enjoy California a little before I got started.
Was it a little different coming back to the Wasatch Front without a name tag?
It was super different. Got to see a couple families and stuff that said other Pau'u, and it just threw me off a little. Now I'm used to Neil and stuff, so, but it's all good, all fun and games.
We don't have a lot of game film or game experience to break down for you here at BYU, but just how excited are you to kind of get your first season, your freshman season, rolling in a year where obviously, I think it's fair to say you're expected to contribute with your slot on the depth chart?
Yeah, well, it's been a while. It's been about dang near almost 2.5, 3 years since the last high school game at receiver. So this year, just excited to go out and to play against great competition that will play. Coach Cahoon is really putting us in situations for us to excel, and obviously having talent in front, and especially Micah Simon, that's really been helping me. He's been the guy that's been helping me understand the offense and the concepts and different yardage on how deep routes should be and stuff. So just a lot of help, and definitely excited for this upcoming Saturday to get it all started.
You talk about learning, understanding the offense and that kind of thing, but you played a little bit of quarterback in high school. I understand. Did that help you to come in and just kind of learn the different, terminology, routes, overall scheme, play calling, that kind of thing?
It definitely, after I understood the offense for a little, the concepts started to make more more sense in a sense. And then when I'm running, I can kind of pick out what coverages are already set or what they're about to throw at us. So running routes are that much easier, I guess, in a sense, because I understand the concepts or understand what the defense is trying to do and what the corner and the safety are trying to do and what they're trying to protect, and try to use it against them and stuff.
I mentioned I was going to bring up a couple of non-football concepts, but that's kind of old hat to you because you were a three-sport athlete in high school.
Yes, sir.
So kind of run me down a little bit. You played basketball some. I'm not entirely certain what position you played because I literally have read 4 different positions.
Yeah.
Is that true?
So I was like one of the tallest dudes in high school, so like on the basketball team. So I played like 4, but it was pretty much 1 through 4. And then when centers got in trouble, then I had to play the 5. Unfortunately, I don't think anyone wants to play the 5 when you're super under short or whatever.
Did you ever go into a game playing like point guard or shooting guard and then have to move all the way down to low?
Yeah. So it switched depending on teams and stuff. When we got into league and stuff against a bunch of like D1 athletes that we played against in our league, I definitely had to play the 4 and the 5 mostly, and then just trust the point guards can get the ball over half court and stuff.
And then you also played volleyball in the spring.
Yeah, so I played volleyball to get away from my basketball and football coaches. Just have a little break. My volleyball coach was Matt Marujo. He was super awesome, and he understood that like football was my first priority, so he let me go to football stuff and then just make sure that I was ready to come and play volleyball. But it was super fun to play that volleyball, basketball, and football.
Did playing those other sports help you on the football field, develop skills or kind of tangible things that made you a better football player?
I think if anything, it helped me be a little more agile, helped with, I guess, lateral quickness and with breaking out of routes and stuff. That helped with like basketball slides, a ton of those. And the volleyball obviously just helped with the little hops that I have. So I think definitely all 3 were incorporated and helping me where I'm at today.
We mentioned your big brother, your big little brother, Butch, starting linebacker, team captain up here. What's it been like playing with him? Obviously not in a game yet, but just practicing with him. And I understand you live together, you live close together or something like that?
Yeah, so we played a little my sophomore year in high school, his senior year. We got to play on the same field. I was on offense, of course, he was on defense. It was just a blast to be able to talk about the game, what we saw from different aspects of the game, and how we can go forth and carry it. So being here, it's kind of brought back some memories where we had a nice run in high school, and hopefully we can take it all this year. But he's been definitely a help in almost every aspect with school, but especially with off-season preparation. I didn't really believe in that, just believed in talent will get you to a certain point, but he definitely helped me understand that 2, maybe sometimes 3 workouts are necessary per day to get you where you want to be and stuff. So
we've mentioned the 2 Pau'u brothers here on the football team. You're not the only athletes in the family.
No.
You've got a sister who played Division II basketball,
yes.
I think at Notre Dame de Namur. And then 2 little twin sisters who I've heard rumors they might be the most athletic of the bunch. Is that true? I don't know. Just talk about your other siblings and kind of the athleticism, I guess, in the family.
So the one after me, she will probably be the most athletic. Growing up, me and my brother, it was a competition between us and her, like us 2 versus her, and almost basketball. She would come out during football practice and beat us in like our conditioning after practices and stuff. And then the last,
Rachel, right?
This is Rachel, yeah. And then the last 2 had CC. I don't know about athleticism, but they are definitely the smartest out of the 5 of us. Those 2 definitely A's throughout high school, all growing up, 5s, never had an issue. My parents never had to worry about them getting high enough score to get into college or whatever. So they always took care of the business inside of the classroom, but outside the classroom was where they had to be pushed a little more, where it was opposite for us. So, yeah.
Any other Pau'us coming to pro?
No, those would be, so it's just me and my brother, and then the 2 just moved up this past week, and then we'll see what my sister does. She heads up back to the Bay, I think this week, and then she'll do a semester there and see what the future holds for her.
For sure. Neil Pau'u, I'll get you out of here on this one. Completely non-football, completely non-sports related. What's been kind of your go-to takeout option here in Utah County?
Our go-to takeout.
Yeah, favorite food, favorite restaurant, dine in, carry out, whatever, I guess.
That's definitely a hard one. If I had to choose, Cubby's is a good one, but I always go with my basic In-N-Out California double. Some fries and a shake will never go wrong. So I'm gonna roll with that one.